Welcome back. I'm here Football League editor Pascal Lemaire to talk about Saturday's Championship match between Brentford and Preston. Two teams at the wrong end of the table. Pascal, we'll start with the home side. 3 defeats in their last 4 now.
Yeah, it's been a tough run for Brentford. After the international break, they had 2 away games at Leeds and Middlesbrough. That is 2 difficult trips. And the first one, they go to Leeds, and a decent point there. I mean, Leeds have drawn a lot of games this season. Brentford took the lead, Juricin scoring on his debut. It was a decent finish as well, but they couldn't quite hold out. Antonucci curled one in for them. So a point at Leeds wasn't the worst, but then they go to Middlesbrough, who had won 3 in a row going into that game, and it wasn't really any surprise to see Brentford go down there. It was 3-1 in the end, and I mean, the goal they scored from Lasavai, that only came from a really poor mistake from Borough keeper Konstantopoulos. So poor results. They're sitting there 21st in the table, and you look at their squad, and I think it just looks a little bit thin. They only had 6 substitutes against Middlesbrough, so it just shows that they haven't quite got a full squad there. And you think they were 5th in the table last season under Mark Warburton. We know that there's been so much change at Brentford, and I just think that they've said at the start of the season that even if this new tactic about the analytics and working on all the numbers doesn't work to start with Marinus Dijkhuizen, that they will stick with him, but you wonder if he has got much longer left, because they've had some really poor results this year. They haven't really had a good game, to be honest, yet. The only game they did win, 4-2 against Bristol City, they were below par in that game until Bristol City got a man sent off. So they have been really struggling, but they've got a big end to September coming up. This is one of 3 home games they've got in a row, because their game against Birmingham was rearranged. So they've got Preston, Sheffield Wednesday, Birmingham all coming up, 3 in a row at home, and it's a real chance to sort of try and move up the table, because so far it's been poor.
Preston, they're only two places better off, up in 19th after no winning 5 in the league.
Yeah, Preston, they had that good start. They drew with Middlesbrough on the opening day and then went to MK Dons and ground out a really impressive 1-0 win there. But like you say, no winning 5 since then. And they had a couple of tough trips. Recently. Played 2 home games. The first one against Derby at home. That was always going to be a tough game. Derby, everyone's still waiting for them to really get going, and Derby in that game, Chris Martin scored 2 really good goals, and Preston's goal, it came deep in added time, so they didn't really deserve anything out of that game. But the winnable game was the most recent one against Bristol City, and at home, just a 1-1 draw there. And again, that's the sort of game they should be winning if they want to sort of push towards the top half this season. The goal they scored was an absolute stunning goal from Neil Kilkenny, 30 yards, absolutely brilliant hit right into the top corner. They couldn't hold out. Wilbraham scored, I think it was the 81st minute that Bristol got their equaliser. So disappointing not to get a win there, and only 1 point out of 6 from those 2 home games is disappointing. And I look at their attack. Last season they had Garner, Beckford scoring all these kind of goals. Beckford's now out for another 2 months, I think it is. I mean, Joe Garner, he's played every single minute this season. He hasn't even come off as a substitute. He's still yet to score a goal. He was so good last season in League One, and I think Grayson maybe just needs to drop him for this game and think, maybe drop him, and maybe he can have time to think about himself and where he can improve. But he's played every single minute this season, still yet to score for a striker. He was so good last year. I think it could be time to drop him, because Preston, they've only scored 4 goals all season. Only Bolton have scored 3, have scored less than that. So something's got to change up front for Preston, and maybe it's dropping Garner.
So both out of form, both in desperate need of a victory. See how they get him?
I can't really separate them. Like Brentford, they haven't impressed me once this season. Brentford and Preston, bar that good start, they've struggled going forward, like I said. So I see this one being a draw, 1-1.
Sportsmore going for a 1-1 draw.